Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ware Wendell, Executive Director of Texas Watch. We are respectfully opposed to the legislation. I will not improve Mr. Herring's comments because he literally wrote the book. I own the book, and I'm sure many of the lawyers in this room own the book as well. So I'd like to use my 3 minutes to place this in context. I hold in my hand a document from the FDA that anybody can access this off their website. The question is, does the FDA approve ads for prescription drugs before they are seen by the public? They answer, no, generally we do not. This means that the public may see ads that violate the law before we can stop the ad from appearing or seek corrections to the ad. Consumers should know that they may not necessarily be able to tell whether any specific DTC ad includes false or misleading information. There was discussion about pizza ads. You might be interested to know that Big Pharma floods the airwaves with over $6 billion in advertisements every year. Try to watch the evening news or 60 Minutes without seeing a drug ad on every single ad break. So this is the environment that consumers and patients are receiving information in. At the same time, there is demonstrated danger, and there is delay. I want to just cite 3 quick examples. Darvon and Darvocet, they were painkillers that were shown to cause heart arrhythmias. It took 32 years to get those drugs off the market. Accutane, 13 million Americans took it. Severe acne medication, it was shown to cause psychosis and lead to many suicides, violating their lives. Vioxx, one estimate places it at 27,000 heart attacks and sudden deaths caused by Vioxx. So we have these drugs that are out there. Consumers are taking the drugs. $6 billion worth of money is telling them to take the drugs. And at the same time, we see that the FDA does not do a good job at all. This is a study from the Journal of the American Medical Association from April of 2017. They looked at 222 novel therapeutics that were approved by the FDA between 2001 and 2010. Of those 222 novel drugs, 32% had safety events after they were put out into the market. It's a terrible batting average, nearly a third. We also know that pharma pays 75% of the FDA's scientific review budget. A third of the drugs are dangerous, and pharma is paying for 3/4 of the scientific review budget. You can put 2 and 2 together there. Also, direct-to-physician marketing is extremely successful. Just this year, January 2019, the Hadlin study shows that marketing of opioid products to physicians was associated with increased opioid prescribing and subsequently with elevated mortality from overdoses. Translated, Big Pharma is really good at lobbying doctors. They prescribe the medication, and in this case, with the opioids, overprescribe and people die. So that's the world that we live in, and sometimes the only notice that they get, the only alert that they get is through these advertisements, as much as we may quibble with the quality of the voiceover.
Thank you. Thank you. Members, any questions? Yeah. Vice Chair Farrar.
Mr. Wendell, that's a nice haircut you've got.
Thank you.
What's your recognize you?
It's a little bit different than last session.
Right.
I'll tell my wife that you approve.
All right.
She's my barber.
Got it. Oh,
Yeah.
That's handy. You mentioned, or somebody mentioned earlier about restrictions that there aren't restrictions on other types of advertising. Are there restrictions on pharmaceutical advertising?
The FDA is supposed to be looking at that, but these ads get out into the market, and what we see is it takes very long for them to take any sort of action at all. There's a great ProPublica piece that I will circulate to the committee, Mr. Chairman, where you can see how much delay it takes for them to pull these ads back down, pull these drugs out of the marketplace. They're very rarely withdrawn.
Sort of an aside, a doctor friend was expressing once his frustration about patients coming in and wanting whatever they saw on television, and may or may not be appropriate, but he had a hard time talking them off the ledge. But they saw it on TV, so anyway.
$6 billion worth.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? All right, thank you.